to M's the Word, and we're kicking off this episode with money mistakes. Now, money mistakes aren't usually about overspending. They're usually deep and emotional, and we don't even realise it. The statistics show that 1 in 3 women say credit card debt is their biggest financial regret. Men are 4 times more likely to negotiate a pay rise, and so many women delay investing because they feel like they don't know enough. So today we're going to strip the shame away. We're going to have a real conversation and talk about the real patterns we see as women and as advisors. So we're going to start with something called credit card creep. And a few of you said to me, what is that? So credit card creep is when people spend a little bit on their credit cards and the balance creeps up, and before they know it, they've got a big balance and they don't even realise how or what they spent the money on. So why do you think credit card creep is so common, especially for women? Who wants to start us off?
I can. I know from my own personal experience, it's just so easy. I think that's the biggest issue, is it's so easy. We never had a credit card for a first good couple of years in my relationship. And then we went on holiday and we were like, just put it in the credit card and we'll overpay. Do you think we've done that? Nope. So it's just so easy. And then something comes up, or Christmas or a birthday, and put it on the card, put it on the card. Yeah. So I think it's just the ease of it.
Was it a 0% card out of interest? Yeah. Yes, it's the 0% cards that do it.
Yeah. It feels like free money, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And especially when you're all set up on your phone and you just click and then it's done. So it is definitely ease is definitely a factor, sure.
Yeah, and obviously we've just gone past Christmas. I think that's a classic one. I don't know about you, but you get the whole, oh, you only live once, they deserve it, or I deserve it, whatever it is. So let's be honest, has anyone here had credit card creep? You've obviously said it. Yes.
Yeah.
I have too. Yes. How did you clear it?
I haven't.
Okay, so right, okay.
I'm still in a bit of a creepy situation. So I had a £1,000 up and down last year, and every time I got it down, something else happened, and so there's just this up and down of around 1,000. And then there was a holiday that I just had to go on, and then there was Christmas. So it's definitely there. It's bigger than I would like it to be, but I have one, and I'm managing it well. You know, and actually, with my broker hat on, it's actually can be good to have good credit that you manage well. So I'm trying to look at it in that positive light, but very aware that there is a debt there, and I'm not somebody that likes having any debt. So that's definitely something that I will work away in 2026 and get to a zero position. Yeah.
So about 5 years ago, my credit card balance was so high that I could not tell you what I had spent that on. And between my husband and I, we just got to a point where, that they say about the hole in the bottom of the bucket. You're making money, but you've still got a hole in the bucket. So it's going. So together, I had a plan that I was going to pay a certain amount and get it all gone by a year. And then together, he said, your debts are my debts. Let's together pay this completely off. And then we got rid of all credit cards, and I haven't had one for 5 years.
Oh, wow. You haven't had a credit card
at all? So I cannot do the I'll pay for it later thing anymore.
Okay, so you've learned
quite like that.
Yeah.
I mean, AA recovery for credit creep, I think.
Okay, so not having a credit card at all has been your solution.
It's been the only solution that's worked for us.
I will say I used my mortgage, and I think it's important we talk about that here. Debt consolidation mortgages are really great, but we don't like to repeatedly reoccur of debt consolidation mortgage. But if you are in a position like I was, I think my credit card was about 12 grand and it was various things, but it wasn't anything major. It wasn't anything profound that I could categorically say, yes, that was worth spending it on. And it drove me mad. I just felt like no matter how long my plan was, it was depressing. It was depressing to know I had to pay this much off. And even then, it wasn't going to get there for a long time. So debt consolidation is obviously when you bring it into your mortgage and you're spreading that payment over a long period of time. So immediately there's an immediate monthly saving. But of course you are paying that. I mean, I'm still paying that for the next 30 years, which is depressing. I definitely don't remember what I spent it on. I definitely don't care about it now. But it was a reset. So I think for anyone listening that has got a mortgage that can potentially look at that as an option, I would say it's a good idea.
Yeah. I think there's lots of caveats around that, isn't there? And it is intended to be a one-time thing, and that reset. But when you say about that reset, I think that's what's actually been so, energetically, that was kind of the baseline of then growth and more financial, a feeling of more financial abundance and an ease with it. So that reset is really powerful if you learn something as well.
I mean, often we learn the most from our mistakes.
Sure.
And the discomfort I felt and the relief I felt was so contrasting. I couldn't not learn something lasting from it. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about pay rises. Okay, so women make the biggest mistake by not asking for a pay rise because they wait to be recognised. Men will negotiate, and that wait can cost tens of thousands of pounds over a career. So, Shelley, why do you think we find it so hard to ask for more?
I think it is a male-female thing. We've still got the gender pay gap. Women are often conditioned to think that we should earn less or we deserve less. And I think men are often more bold when they apply for jobs and then are speaking about their annual pay rises or anything like that. But I am someone that, when I was employed, did ask for a pay rise every single year. Every single year, because I'm worth it, you know. So
Did you get it every year?
Mostly. I got it most of the time. Yeah, I think I got this 7 years in a row. I got a pay rise, and in the end I was earning a fair bit more than my peers. But because I was also mentoring those peers and did have a real depth and spread of knowledge, you know, so I said, well, you know, this is what I bring. And then actually my employer brought in performance-related pay, and every year I hit exceptional, you know, so it's like, well, actually, it's showing that I'm worth it, you know, so, which was great. And I always encourage people to do that. And on the flip side of that, when I've been interviewing people and a manager myself, I would encourage them to ask me, you know, say, well, you've come in, you're talking to me about the lowest starting point on the salary scale. Why? Let's empower you to have those conversations, even if it might be difficult for me as a manager to make that happen for you, but this is your growth and what you need to achieve, you know. So I think it's really important that we do it, that women get in that mindset, and men, you know, so that everybody just thinks, am I performing? Am I excelling? Am I exceptional? You know, and if you feel like you are or can recognise the good things that you've done in the year, why not ask? Because you're not going to lose your job for asking for a pay rise.
Did it help you to have those markers? Because it seems like it's a self-worth thing, and obviously you are exceptional, but you recognise. But so, you know, so many people are, and they don't recognise it or they wouldn't say it. Something's helped you to be able to go, well, because I've done X, Y, Z, I'm ready to ask. Did that come into it, or were you like, no, I would have asked anyway?
I think you know me, right? I'm a confident woman, okay? So, and I'm someone that's always been independent and fighting for myself, you know. So that is just who I am. But I see other people that aren't like that, and they're the ones that I'll always try and lift and say, come on, just be a little bit more Shelley today. Be a bit more bold and actually ask for what you deserve here. Because you can sit around and pen push, you know, and those people shouldn't get a pay rise in my view, you know, if you're just barely, you know, keeping a seat warm at work. But if you are truly striving and achieving and making a difference to people, then why shouldn't that be rewarded?
But you see, I love this, and I wish I'd known you younger, because when I worked in my corporate job in London, I didn't ask for a pay rise.
Why?
Because I believe that if you're really great, you would be rewarded for it. You know what I mean? If you're doing a good job, you'll be spotted. I mean, I'm like that era of, this is my whole self-worth journey has been, you wait for someone to tell you you're good enough, and then they'll take you on a journey that you deserve to go on. It's so flawed.
Yeah, it's interesting because
it really is so flawed. But you know, like when you look at what we were brought up with, Pop Idol, X Factor, like it was just conditioned. Like you were rewarded for being the person on the stage that doesn't really know that they're good enough, and shoulders hunched, and then they just wow everybody, and then they go on this journey, and everyone likes them because they're humble.
You've bought into a story there.
I've bought into a story about you as a woman especially, you want to be liked, you don't want to be too much. These are the conditioning we have. I haven't made this up. This is what we've been taught. So that conflicts with sitting in a room and asking your boss for a pay rise and telling them why you deserve it. That's two different characters to play as a woman, and I suppose you choose a lane. In the corporate world, you choose a lane. I chose the other one, and I definitely didn't get as many pay rises, and I was grateful and humble when I did, because that's the good girl role, isn't it? I'm not saying you're the bad girl, but you're the empowered woman that I would want my daughter to be.
But I'm still humble, you know, that's the thing. I think it is about keeping that line, because you don't want to be arrogant, egotistical. That's seen as too far that way. So it is a balance. But I grew up in a house where my dad was don't ask, don't get, and my mum which way round? One of them was don't ask, don't get, and the other one was don't ask, don't want. You know, so is that the same or different?
I'm going to have to take that away.
Take that one away. But anyway, one of them didn't like asking. My mum didn't like asking for things, and
Right,
my
and your
dad
dad
said,
did.
"Well, if you don't ask for it, how would I know that you want it?" You know, so and I think I have that push pull in me. Where I get nervous sometimes about asking for things, but
it's good.
why
It's
not?
great.
Because, like I say, the worst someone's going to do is say no. You know, so and what happens if they say no? Then you ask them why.
Yeah.
And then you learn from that. You know,
100%.
so that's it.
I think as well on that, like I've not run an employed role for my whole career really, so I'm not in this conversation, but something that would stop me would be not knowing what is available. So if it's quite common to keep other people's pay quite quiet, and that was
you
actually
don't
how
talk
they've
about
got away
it,
with the pay gap for so long. If I knew I was working at the same level, I've got enough self-confidence to know I was doing it well, but if I knew they were getting paid more, I could ask for it. But I think sometimes being blind to what is available for you, that would stop me, because I don't have that experience. I don't know that.
That is the gender pay gap. That's how they
it would
control the
chuck me
narrative.
right in, I'll tell you that.
I'd love to have been like, who I am now, employed. I reckon I would be more Shelley. Be more Shelley, everybody. So before we move on, we have a money call-in, and we're going to see what the panel think of this. So hi, Sarah and the panel. I'm 32 and I've built up £6,400 across 2 credit cards. My partner doesn't know, and I'm scared this mistake will ruin everything. Where do I start, and how do I tell him? Who wants to start?
I think we see this a lot in our jobs, and surprisingly, I probably see this a couple of times a year, if not more. But the first thing I would probably do is probably lean into what Gemma said, where you teamed together with your husband and was able to crack down on it, if you like. Together. So I think the first thing to do is open up and have that conversation.
To tell your husband?
I think so.
You know, vulnerability. I haven't wanted to talk to you about this because it feels awkward to me, but I'm going to be really honest with you. This is where I'm at. This is what's going on. I'm determined to come up with a forward plan, but you need to know, full disclosure.
Yeah.
I think feed him first. Definitely. Do his favourite dinner, and over dinner, sit down and just have a conversation about it.
Step by step guide.
Yes.
Shelley, feed them.
Feed the man first before you give them any news. And then just work through it, because I bet it will not be as bad as she thinks.
No.
And actually that number, obviously I'm not aware of the income situation, but that number isn't as big as other numbers
it's
I
not.
see.
It's not.
6,400
No.
is not an extreme amount of debt by any means. It's quite normal for people to have that in the background. So I think it's about making it normal and saying, look, I've got these credit cards, I want to get rid of it, like you say, and just working through it. But also looking at those cards and making sure that the debt is structured well. So is it on 0%, like we just spoke about, or are you paying too much interest? You know, do you need help to sort of take out a loan and sort that out, or whatever it is? So, but I just say, feed the man,
Feed the man.
be honest, and it all will be good.
And I think I'm going to take out what you said, that it's normal. It's more normal than you think. That shame breeds in the dark. You know, if you don't talk about something, it gets bigger. I think you're going to feel so much better if you have the conversation. So thank you for that. Okay, so another huge money mistake is delaying investing because women feel they need to be experts first. And yet, studies actually show that when women invest, they actually outperform men. Who here invests?
I do now, but I definitely think that would be a personal money mistake for me. I wish I had explored it or knew more about it, because what's the phrase? The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So I'm investing now, great, but I can't get those years back. No. So if I'd known anything about investing in my 20s and started there, I would have already accumulated so much more. So there wasn't an education gap for me there. Probably still is, arguably, but it's a shame I didn't know about that as well and didn't look into it.
I feel like that about my pension, actually. I didn't start that until my 30s, and I think, had I have done it, because I literally said my 20s are for partying, they're not for saving, you know. So any money that I did earn, I made that choice to live my life, you know. So I did, and I had a great life, and I did buy a property that I lived in, but I didn't feel the need. But actually, the compound interest that I would have on that from now, you know, to now, would be much more significant, you know, than I ever realised. And when I look at pension calculators now, I'm like, oh, that 20s thing was a bad choice.
Jade, you didn't put your hand up, I noticed. So you don't invest. So what's your reason for that?
No, it's a huge topic in my house. It's just lack of knowledge, in pure honesty. I know we're behind the scenes, obviously we're doing a lot with schools, and I do think that if we were taught or educated in schools, I'll be in a much different position now. That I think there's so much we can learn anyway, but I think if they're taught in schools or we were taught in schools, I think that the minute you start owning, even if it's £10, you know, that will help with a deposit for a property or just investing for their future. So I know my household, me and my partner are looking at options, but also it's a bit of a minefield, and I know what I can be a bit like. I wouldn't jump in without knowing, so I almost want to like know everything, which is impossible. But I want to know everything before I run into it. So I've downloaded the apps, and I know the minute I jump, I'll be like, have you seen we've made £1? Like I will be monitoring that thing. But it's just making that first thing, am I doing the right thing? Am I investing in the right thing? Because it is a bit of a minefield.
Yeah, and that is a really common emotion that comes up for women that stops them acting. So overriding that need to be perfect is a key step.
100%.
But there are some brilliant apps out there. Can we recommend any here? There are no ads here, so this is just organic, like me finding it. I work on ajbell.all app.
I've downloaded Trading 212, is it?
Yeah.
I invest via, I've had a financial advisor do our full investments, but before that I read a book, Girls That Invest, and it was excellent. They've got podcasts as well, and they made the biggest thing in it was like, it's not this like gold dust of difficulty. It's like actually really simple, and you're like, it's like it's an illusion that it's such a hard thing, and only the real clever men in the world do it. Actually, that's a load of rubbish. So I liked that.
Yeah, no, I started on Nutmeg, and that's now JP Morgan. So, and I think a really good place to start with investing is just a stocks and shares ISA. So just put it in there. It'll be tax-free. It can be managed for you, but you have to, as much as you might want to monitor it day by day, you can't, because it is a long-term plan, and you shouldn't ever be investing anything that you can't afford to lose. So and things are going to have trends, and it's going to move over time. So I've had investments that have gone well, and I've had investments that have gone badly, but ultimately, given more time, the ones that have failed at the start will likely come good in the end, So you've got to be in it for the long haul here, and I think you've got to be thinking sort of 7 years plus to really have confidence that you're doing something that's 100%. Good for the future.
And a good comparison with that is, we kind of understand that property is an investment, right? But if you've got your house valued every day, you would realise that actually that fluctuates a lot more than you realise. But you get your house valued every 2 years, 5 years, you'll probably see some growth. And that's the same with investing, which just we don't get our houses revalued every day.
Yes, that's a very good point. Okay, so as mortgage advisors, this is going to be a quick fire. We see money behaviours up close as advisors, and the patterns are really clear. So what are the biggest mistakes we see from clients coming to us for a mortgage?
I've got one, a really big one that is more of a myth, but as soon as a mortgage offer comes out, it's almost like it's guaranteed. And the amount of times I have calls with people, they're like, oh, I've just gone and got my car on finance, or I've just taken out a credit card, I've just done a loan. I'm like, this offer is not guaranteed yet. You've not got the keys. And they've already done it without having the conversation.
And
it's just like,
mortgage.
Leave it alone.
I think we all go.
When
someone does that. You've just undone all that.
We've gone 10 steps back.
Don't do any credit while in the middle of a mortgage application.
And it's always a sofa. I don't know why all my clients are like, oh, can I go and get the sofa? I'm like, no, leave the sofa.
It's because sofas take so long to come.
Are you this person, Sarah? Are you going to call me?
I know.
I've got the
And
sofa.
it's 0%, so it's the free money game again. So you just get, 30 quid. It's fine. Like, I need the sofa when I move in.
Because they take 12 weeks, can't
they? They take a long time.
Forget the sofa, sit on the floor, just get the keys. Wait.
Ring your advisor first. Okay, what is your biggest money mistake if you haven't covered it already?
My biggest money mistake is boozy shopping.
As in shopping for booze, or shopping while under the influence of booze?
I need clarification on that.
Sometimes you might treat yourself to a glass of wine at home, on the weekend, and you've got your feet up and you start going,
boozy online.
That's a nice coat. Oh no, I did it the other day. I bought 10 coats. I spent over £1,000, and I was worried about money. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? I spent £1,000.
That's that £1,000 of credit card, Shelley.
It's boozy shopping. I saw you just dancing around the shops.
Yeah.
like a little bit
no. So
gypsy.
I think that's where my credit card creep can sometimes come in. With sort of like, I get a little bit like confident about what I can have in life and just have it, because why not, you know? And it might include, you know, clothes, shoes, holidays.
10 coats,
You know.
apparently. You can send 9 back. It's
Well,
fine.
they've all got to go back. And now I've got to pay all this money for delivery on stuff that I didn't need. So
And we didn't need that extra admin
it was stupid,
either. What's yours?
I think I've covered mine really. Learning about investment, I guess as well, until I was a mortgage advisor, I didn't understand my mortgage. And so I would say having like you know, don't tell the story that you don't understand these things, actually. You really can and you really should. So, yeah, it's been a learning 5-6 years in my life.
Yeah, amazing. Jade?
Mine will lean on the investment side, but just as something that I always speak to my clients for is, and I think the credit card company is really good at offering you more than you need.
Yeah.
So you go in at 5,000, oh, have 8. And it's just so easy. So I think just know what you're getting it for and just like set that limit.
Use it for that.
Use it for that. I know it's easy just to grab another 5.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah.
Mine is probably always stretching beyond where I am. So because I'm always living over there, I do believe you have to live as the woman you're becoming, which is very flawed when it comes to money, because there's a balance here. Okay, so yeah, I've had it in the past where I've thought, the woman I'm becoming can afford that bag, so I'm getting it today. And actually, that wasn't the right thing, because that is where the credit card creep can happen. So there's a balance to be had, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.